Alright, welcome everybody to the first official review of my channel here on Ronnie Reacts. I hope everybody enjoys. Thank you for just taking the time to check what it is that I'm uploading. I hope you guys like it. And of course, like I mentioned, it's going to be on the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So in this review, we have Falcon, well in the show rather, we have Falcon, otherwise known as Sam Wilson, portrayed as Anthony Mackie again, Bucky, also known as the Winter Soldier, being played by Sebastian Stan. Our main antagonist in the show, Carly, a new character, leader of a faction known as the Flag Smashers, played by Aaron Kellyman. Baron Zemo, of course, coming back. I'm glad he came back on the show, portrayed by Daniel Brew, I think it's pronounced. And of course, we have John Walker, played as Wyatt Russell. So, first things we're going to talk about on the show are the good things, in my opinion. From the jump, literally, I think it was the second scene or the first scene, we get a taste of how the action scenes are going to be in this movie. Like, it was nice to see that they put effort into making Sam seem like he could really like carry himself and look good doing it, so like when he was flying through the air in the beginning, when he was fighting George St. Pierre or Baltrock in the beginning of the show also, that was pretty cool. And it carries out honestly throughout the rest of the show because like the show had really good pacing. I never felt, for the most part, with the exception of I think episode 4, I never felt that it was either here or there, like it was like the pacing was up here or down low. Like it was always, everything led, like one scene led to another pretty consistently, in my opinion. But the end was a little bit, little strange, but I thought the action overall, it was pretty good. Well shot as well. Like the cinematography, it felt a lot like, a lot really reminiscent of Civil War and Winter Soldier, because they had that shaky cam in there again. But even besides that, when you had scenes where characters were talking, like the shots seemed really intimate. When things were getting serious, we got the good close-ups. We said that the expressions were very believable, which leads me into the other thing, which is the acting in the show. The acting was pretty top-notch as well. Like, for what I might believe about the story, and I'll get to it because I'm talking about the positives first. The acting was pretty well. It was believable as well. I didn't have. There wasn't a moment where I was like, this seems really strange. Aside from obviously, when you see the scenes where Zemo is dancing, or when they're working on the boat, which was that's more of what I meant as far as pacing. Like that whole boat episode, I understand that episode was more therapeutic for Bucky and maybe Sam, but the pacing was a little strange on that episode. And of course, I have to talk about Sam and Bucky, the main characters. Seeing how they were in Civil War.
Can you move your seat up? No.
Where Cap kisses Sharon and they both just look and start nodding like, yeah, good stuff. Like I kind of had a feeling like they had a good camaraderie, and like good chemistry together. So when I heard that they were gonna have their own show, I had my hopes up, and they did deliver. Solo, like their own scenes and their own character development, I thought they individually did well. Together, even better. The jokes were funny for me, especially when they were sitting across each other and having the staring contest and stuff. And the dialogue they had, it was funny. I liked it. I wish it would have been a little bit more focused. Again, the whole show, I feel like the focus should have been a different antagonist or just portrayed differently. The Flag Smashers, they were just for me. Like, their main argument is that they want everything back to the way it was when the blip happened, which is getting a bunch of free stuff that wasn't theirs. And now they're mad that everything has to go back to normal. That's just one way of viewing it. I don't know, maybe everybody sees it another way, but it was strange to me. But regardless of the fact, Sam and Bucky, they did great. I was really surprised to see them do that kind of flashback with the Winter Soldier, where he actually kills one of the son of someone who he in the present day is now befriending. Trying to remove that guilt, trying to better himself, but he's having trouble with it. and that was portrayed. That was portrayed correctly throughout the show. That was done, correctly. But a character I do want to praise, another one besides Isaiah Bradley for sure, is definitely John Walker. At first, I'm pretty sure I had the same knee-jerk reaction as everybody else, which I was like, "What the hell is this guy?" Although the ending, it was a little strange, just for me. And this is one thing I'm gonna get to later in the review. The ending for a lot of these characters, there was, I wanted more. I needed more, honestly.
I want more.
But where he ends up, he becomes a U.S. agent, obviously, with this lady who I forgot her name because she was literally in the show for 3 scenes, maybe, or 4. And not to mention how annoying her character was, like her dialogue. I don't know why they chose to have that character trait on her, but yeah, he didn't seem as emotional as I thought he would have been towards the end of the show, considering what had happened. So I mean, I'm glad he recovered from it. I guess what he really cared about was getting the Captain America, or just being in that role again. So it was an okay resolution for him. Overall, I liked his arc, and he was one of the characters that I really did appreciate on the show. The show, it was strong. Everyone's motivations for the most part were very clear. You knew why they were doing what they were doing. But it also is a detriment to it because, and mainly just one big reason, which is an important reason for me, I want to preface this by saying, for me, your hero is only as strong as the villain.
I have one rule.
Oh, then that's the rule you'll have to break to know the truth.
Which is?
The only sensible way to live in this world is without rules. And tonight, you're gonna break your one rule.
And considering, like, this show's villain, which was Carly, the leader of the Flag Smashers, I didn't find her really imposing, and it's not even about her stature. It was more of just the scenes that she was in. It didn't do anything for me, like, I was way more interested, and I wish they went with the direction of Isaiah Bradley and what the US did to him, which to me, honestly, that whole dynamic of with Sam realizing that and trying to figure out what to do about it, that would have been way more interesting than this whole Flag Smasher thing. Because at the end of the show, she dies so abruptly, and it was just like, okay, I guess it wasn't surprising. She didn't have too many scenes that really hit me emotionally or like got me really behind her. And she did have scenes. They tried. She had scenes where she would talk about how it was before, before the everyone came back, after the snap. That's what they call it in the show. And it falls into a really bad thing in storytelling, which is you always want to show, not tell. It would have been like way more interesting if they did some sort of flashback, or just had her, show what it was like when she was living after the blip and before, to give us more insight into what it was like, why it is that why she feels the way she feels, instead of just telling us. That's one thing that didn't make her cause too relatable for me, and I was just like, okay, let's move along, honestly. But her acting was on point. I'll give her that. It's just, you gotta work with what you get in terms of writing for the show and the story. Overall though, yeah, the show was great. The last episode rather, I do want to talk about a bit. A lot of action in there. Again, I could see the action. I can watch the action all day. I'm really excited to see Sam moving forward and taking a central role and leading everybody in that way, sort of hopefully how Steve Rogers did. His resolution was pretty good. The speech at the end was really nice. It was cool to see a hero actually talk to a politician at length, and talk about what they actually did, what he brought up, and trying to convince them to see things the way normal everyday people do, instead of politicians away from everything. That was pretty cool. Mainly, my main gripe with the last episode was just like Bucky's resolution. It was cool, and Bucky's a favorite of mine. But when they had that scene where he was talking to the old man, I forget his name again, he said what he said, and the old man didn't really have any reaction to it. It wasn't like, what now? Even though I understand, like, what could they really talk about, but at the same time, that would have been really interesting to see Bucky come head to head with that guilt and then see him deal with it or accept it. So that's another thing, you know. Again, the writing overall was good for the show, but in moments where you could have really done something to like hit a note with people, there was some lost opportunities there. A big one with Carly, Sharon Carter. She was there, not much to say. Like she didn't have a lot of shots or scenes rather in the show. Even though she ended up being the power broker, big twist, I suppose. I was just like, eh. Um, yeah. Sam's resolution, Bucky's resolution. Carly, not Carly, but Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo. I'm glad he was on the show. It was nice to see him portray that character again. Daniel Brew portraying Baron Zemo, and it was interesting because we did see him in Civil War, but it was such a short. Well, not short. Sorry, it was a very directed. Like we knew how he felt. You know, we were gonna see this from him. We weren't expecting to see this much variety or Zemo even being funny in the way we did in this show. So it was nice to see him there. I'm glad he's back in Marvel. I hope he stays around a lot more. I hope they do more with him as well, because I see him as a pretty interesting villain, especially when he was involved, you know, and Wakanda came back in the show. Big thing would have been Isaiah Bradley. That if they would have just fleshed that whole dynamic out more, and just really made Sam, you know, ponder what it is to be Captain America even more in that aspect than every other aspect that was shown. Even though it was really interesting, but Isaiah Bradley's story, like when he was talking, you know, that scene was really nice for me. It definitely got the reaction that they wanted from me, for sure. And I definitely hope, you know, they bring him back somehow, you know. Even though at the end he got a really short resolution, like they put a trophy, sorry, not a trophy, a statue in the museum, which is, you know, that's good for him. But you know, I was expecting something on a, you know, political level to happen, you know, even if it was subtle. Like Sam would really try to push for that, but you know, I guess, you know, he didn't want it to be known that he was alive, so I guess that works out. John Walker, nice resolution for him at the end, even though again the lady, I forget her name, she was she was just annoying for me, I'll be honest. But it was nice to see where they went with him. Like he's obviously gonna come back, and we're not sure at what length, but he's gonna come back. Although, you know, he didn't seem as emotional considering he lost his best friend in the way he did in the show. Towards the end, he was just pretty normal when he was getting the shield, well, getting the title of U.S. agent back. But yeah, overall, I'm gonna give the show definitely a 7 out of 10, a strong 7 out of 10. Could have been an 8 or a 9 if they just really tried to push with those scenes with Isaiah Bradley, or had a better antagonist. I gave it a 7 out of 10 because overall, you know, the action was great, the pacing was great. I wasn't really bored. I was always interested, even if something was going on that didn't really jive with me. So props to the writers, props to everybody at Marvel. And yeah, that's gonna be it for the Falcon Winter Soldier review. I hope everyone enjoys. Definitely dislike if you don't like it. Hopefully let me know in the comments why. We could talk about it, you know. And yeah, have a great day. Oh, the next reviews are gonna be definitely Mortal Kombat. Gonna try to do that one pretty quick, and then Justice League after that. But Justice League might change depending on what else comes out. Sorry this video took so long. I had to, you know, render it, and I did run into some difficulties with my laptop, but we're all good now. So from Ronnie Reacts, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think, and have a great day.